Greetings, Super Family, and welcome to Great Caesar Supercast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast, you know. If you're a fan of the show, you can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/Holy BatCast. As always, a big thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. We couldn't do this without you, so thank you. And we are part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out all those shows at rf4rm.com. As always, I'm your host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Twitter. Not Twitter. You can find me on Instagram, Threads, Letterboxd. It's always just my name, Andy DiGenova. Now, y'all know what this episode is. We're going to talk about the first teaser trailer for James Gunn's Superman. And joining me, it's a bit momentous. We haven't had this happen in a minute, are both of my favorite Bat buddies. First of all, you haven't heard his voice in a minute, but we missed him. We love him. He's back, at least for now. It's Jamie Drewley. Hi, Jamie.
Happy Superman Trailer Day. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Blessed Kwanzaa. Happy Winter Solstice. However you choose to celebrate, goodness to you for it.
Happy Halloween, too.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I guess. Good to have you back. I know you've been busy, personal life, but just know that we haven't forgotten you.
Well, I appreciate that. I've been more or less keeping up with the show, although I haven't listened to the Superman and Lois episode because I'm so far behind on that show. I'm not sure when I'm ever going to get it finished. But I'm still around, still alive, still breathing. But man, life is in the way right now. So
I hear you. I get it. Well, just real quick, highest possible recommendation to watch the final season of Superman and Lois.
I hear nothing but good things about it. But man, I there's so much. Between Scare-a-thon and Cheer-a-thon and Shrinking, which is my wife and I's new addiction, and Young Sheldon, we're watching that together. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. So getting her to watch a Superman show, even though that's kind of how we initially bonded, is kind of a tough trick these days.
All right. Well, there you go.
A peek behind the curtain. I was sitting there watching the trailer because I didn't watch it all day until I got home from work at like 6 o'clock. And then I started watching it on repeat until we decided to record this, an hour and a half later, whatever it's been. And she came home and sat down and was like, how many times are you going to watch this? It's like, I'm doing a podcast in like a half an hour. She's like, oh. And then she left the room. So
the answer is at least once more, as always.
I watched it as many times as I could in the allotted time.
I'm proud of you. I'm so proud. Anyway, it's not just the two of us because you know what? The three musketeers are back, or the three superketeers, whatever. It's Brendan. Hi, Brendan Lowe.
Howdy, gentlemen. How are we?
Swell. When was the last time the three of us have all been together? Swell. A lot of people wouldn't feel comfortable going around using the word like swell. But
what's that from? That sounds familiar.
It's from Superman the movie, Jamie.
Who are you, Michael Lyons?
Did you not get the reference either, Brendan? Both of y'all
got it.
Okay, everybody's fired.
Keep in mind, my brain has been really frazzled for about the last 45 to 60 days. So
I'm sorry, man. Feel for you. Anyway, Brendan, welcome back. Glad to have you. Glad we could make this work.
Glad to be back. 5 days out from Christmas.
Oh my God. Oh my God, you're right. It's coming so soon. Well, we got an early Christmas present, and that is our first look at Superman coming this summer. And we didn't get just the trailer. We got a poster. We got a snippet of the score. We got a tease for the trailer, and then the trailer itself with more music in it. So I can't wait to talk about all these fun things because Superman is coming our way next summer, but I'm really glad that the rumors of us getting a trailer before the end of the year did pan out, because here we are. Gives us an excuse to all get together for the holidays, which makes me happy. So let's start at the very beginning with that poster. I think they dropped it on Monday, being like, trailer coming this Thursday. And so it was a motion poster of Superman looking up, flying up with very bright, colorful background, and the motion poster again had about a minute of music to it. So we had a little bit of a chat about that poster and that music. Jamie, what did you think of that first impression?
I thought the music and the poster were both fine. I don't think there was anything that necessarily got me even more hyped for the movie than I already naturally was going to be. I nothing blew me away about it, but I didn't find anything offensive about either one either. The chat that we had, I just kind of mentioned that I've been absent from social media for a very long time now, completely. And I said, I can only imagine what people's reactions are to using the Williams theme. And then you kind of said that, you hear hints of it, but you also hear some of the Zimmer. And I was like, yeah, I guess. But, after watching the trailer, they're definitely leaning on that Williams theme.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And we did chat about that because what's funny is I listened to that music and I just heard something new. I'm like, I can hear inspiration from Zimmer. I can hear inspiration from Williams, but I didn't really hear the Williams theme. And we all went around about it. And then I was like, I got to listen to this again. And Brendan, you're the one who said, you're like, it's the last 5 seconds.
It's right at the end.
and I think that's what threw me off is I listened to 55 seconds going, oh, this is really nice. It's moody. It's kind of beautiful. It's interesting. But by the last 5 seconds, maybe I was spaced out a little bit. So it wasn't until you said, no, listen to the last 5 seconds. And then I was like, oh, now I'm hearing what you're hearing. So that's why for me, it did not slap me in the face. I thought it was pretty subtle, but I've seen a lot of discourse about they're using the Williams theme, but at least for me, the music on that motion poster, I'm like, yeah, it's there, but it still also feels like something new, which I think is a good approach, a little bit of classic, but it still feels unmistakably Superman taking inspiration from what came before.
Sure. And, I don't have any issue. I love the John Williams score. I love the Reeve Superman films, all of them. Yes, even the crappy ones that nobody likes. I love all of them because I grew up watching all of them. So I don't have any issue with it, but just knowing, someday if I ever do return to social media, I just don't want to see the arguing and fighting about the bullshit of, nothing original and all this other stuff. It's like, but then I watched, I was trying to assist myself since I got such a late start in watching the trailer. I was like 9 hours behind everybody else here. I wanted to get some perspective and, maybe have somebody point out some Easter eggs to me that I might have missed on my own watching it a dozen times. And he started talking about the Williams theme being in play. And he basically said the same thing that I'm saying in that he wished they would have came up with a new theme since this was a new Superman and a new universe. But then he kind of backtracked on that. And I think he made a really good point. For 60 years, maybe longer now, Brendan, you know better than me, James Bond has essentially had more or less the same theme. They kind of dress it up or make it more timely to whatever it is, but everybody knows the Bond theme, no matter which Bond it is, no matter what era you're in. So why not have that with Superman? And that made sense to me. So I'm okay with it. I didn't really have a huge issue with it anyway, because everybody recognizes that.
Yeah, that's something I've never thought of. That's actually a really good point. Yes, for Bond, that first lot of films up until the end of Brosnan were technically all, in the same continuity. Even though, time, he would have been very, very old by the time that the last Brosnan film was made. But yeah, like the reboot with the Craig films and everything, they kept the Bond theme. They didn't use it as much for most of the films. Each film sort of had its own individual theme, and then they'd weave the Bond theme in it occasionally. It would play over to the end credits. But you're right, like Bond has always had the same theme, regardless of who's playing him, regardless of what the movie is. So yeah, I've honestly never thought of it that way, and it's been staring me in the face, literally in my office. It's been staring me in my face the whole time.
I'm shocked you've never thought of it that way, because this is not the first time I've heard that argument. I've heard that quite a bit over the years of being like, hey, if it works for Bond, why not for Superman? And I've even heard it for Batman. And honestly, as far as the music goes, like I've always been kind of good either way. And at least from the snippets we have now heard from the little motion poster and then now the trailer, I appreciate what they're doing, which again is like, yes, they're using that theme, but it's not like they're just playing the Williams soundtrack and being done with it. They're still doing their own thing with it. And I'm still looking forward to hearing the rest of the actual score.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I don't know if this is a backhanded compliment or if it's a negative thing. It's not meant to be that way at all. And I'm not wanting to take anything away from the composer, but it feels like you've gone to a computer, put in all the components of every previous Superman theme ever. Well, Lois and Clark. Like I could when the first time I heard the music for the teaser with the teaser poster, like I swear, part of me was just like, Jesus, sounds like Lois and Clark. Like and you've put it all in the computer and said to AI, make a Superman theme, and this is what it's given us. And again, I don't want to take anything away from the composer, but that's what it feels like. All the elements of every previous Superman theme is there, whether they're actually there or not, like how that last 5 seconds of the motion poster is definitely Williams. It's they're there in mood and vibe and just what the music kind of conjures up in your own consciousness. It feels like all of them put together, which I don't have an issue with.
Well, I mean, you think about it, like Superman has a sound, and he has since John Williams, especially because think about the Lois and Clark theme. It's very evocative of the Williams score without being the
Very
Williams score.
sweeping. Yeah.
Yeah. The Superboy, the TV show, that music, I think actually they might have just used the John Williams theme. Never mind. That's maybe a bad example. Superman, the animated series, it was evocative of Williams without being Williams. So there is a certain sound that now we expect of Superman, even the Zimmer score. And so for this to then feel right in place with those, to me, just makes sense because, yeah, you want a certain thing that just kind of sounds grand and sweeping and heroic like Superman. And then as for the image itself, the poster itself, Brendan, any thoughts?
Oh, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Like I said in our group chat with the Fire Risers guys, if it weren't this time of year and I have my holiday themed wallpapers, that would be the background of my phone and my tablet and probably my laptop. It's a beautiful image. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I love the it's sort of the Fleishiness of it, if that makes sense. And I love the tagline on it. Just look up. I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, I really liked how it sort of embodies the Fleischer classic, almost that Rocketeer style. What is it? Is it Art Deco? You know what I mean? Like, with a bit of a modern twist. Like, I dug that a lot, actually. Yeah. And I'm telling you now, if I don't change it on December 26th, because sometimes I keep my Christmas paper all the way through to New Year's, it'll definitely be, when I wake up on January 1st, that'll be getting changed straight away.
Well, I had it tattooed on the inside of my eyeball, so it's just the wallpaper for my life.
Cool.
Is that okay? Is that good?
I'm glad you said eyeball.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I thought the poster was great. I love it. It's, it's very straightforward. It's Superman looking super, flying up, looks terrific. Like you said, I love the tagline. Look up. I think that's great. And it's simple,
so
simple, but it's
2 words.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, I love the colors on the poster. I think it's a striking image. I think Corin Sweat looks great in the suit. So yeah, I thought that was a great first step. And then we got there was a quick little video that was like trailer premiere on Thursday, and it was just it was like a silver version of the logo rotating, which looks like it's part of a ship or part of maybe the Fortress of Solitude.
Prevailing theory I'm seeing is people think that's the door to the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, that was my first guess, or at least maybe something in the floor that opens up. But now I'm like, oh, it could be the ship too. Who knows? But regardless, that was a nice little image. And then yesterday, because we're recording this on Thursday, we got the teaser for the teaser. And I saw some grumbling of like, oh, teaser for a teaser. And I'm like, guys, they've been doing this for 10 years. Why are you pretending to be surprised? Why are you trying to use it as a reason to be negative? Like it's been happening forever. Oh, I know why. Because it's a DC movie and you have a hidden agenda. I get it. Okay, got it now. But what I thought was so cool was that the teaser for the trailer that we got yesterday, normally when that happens, it's a couple shots from the trailer. This time, it was all footage that was not in today's trailer. And most of it was just of Citizens Metropolis looking up. But there were a couple nice little shots in there. There were shots of Lois Lane and the entire crew of the Daily Planet looking either out a window or up at a TV, unclear. But it was cool to just see them. And then a couple quick shots of Superman flying, one pretty close up, but from behind him with the cape flapping towards us. And then the final one is him just taking off into the sky. So it was a nice little appetizer yesterday, and pretty cool that it was all different than what we got today. So
Well, I'm glad you described it to me because I'm so disconnected right now. I had no idea any of that happened.
oh, well, surprise. You can watch that when we're done.
Well, I forgot the trailer was even coming out today until one of my coworkers walked up and said, "Hey, let's talk about that Superman trailer." I'm like, I forgot it came out today. I haven't even watched it yet. And at this point, I'm going to wait till I get home and see it on a big screen instead of my phone.
Well, even though you had agreed to record with us tonight.
I did. And I remembered to bring my computer home from work. So clearly I didn't forget.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
I probably would have forgotten had he not said anything about it.
Well, did you have any thoughts, Brendan, about that little tease from yesterday?
Not a great deal. I mean, part of me is just like, oh, teaser for a teaser again. But then, yes, at the same time, it's just like, well, they've been doing these for like close to a decade. So
it's the norm for everything. Yeah, and again, like it's like whatever it is.
Like, I think it's silly, but it is the norm, and I'm fine with it. I'm not gonna kick up a stink about it. But
it drives me batty, but I don't really care anymore. It's just part of exactly what you're talking about here. It's how it's done now. I can't change it by complaining about it. So big deal,
And I mean, they were really pumping up anticipation for this teaser. I mean, with obviously the teaser for the teaser, the poster, seeing the shot of the theater on the Warner Brothers backlot where they were having the premiere and all that kind of, I mean, James Gunn's videos talking about it. They're trying to hype the absolute bejesus out of this. So more power to them, which will come up again later when we get to overall thoughts. But I thought it was a good little video, and as silly as I think the concept is, it worked. I was like, geez, I can't wait to see this trailer.
Well, and also, it, gave us a little something while we were waiting for a whole nother day. But to your point, this movie has to be an event. This movie, like there's a lot riding on this movie. And so to make it an event this week, I think it's really smart, towards the end of the year to get people hyped for next year. And James Gunn even said 2025 Summer of Superman, which is something I'm all for. So yeah, like you want to make a big splash with this initial first look. And I think they did. I will say, especially because we don't get to see most of the Daily Planet crew in the actual teaser. So in that little clip, it was just cool to see Lois Lane dead center, but we also see Jimmy Olsen there. We see Cat Grant there, and we see Steve Lombard there. And I still say Beck Bennett as Steve Lombard is inspired, and I just think that's so good. And then, just those quick little snippets of Superman flying. I know it's straightforward, but hey, man, I don't think I'll ever get sick of seeing Superman fly.
Nope.
And then today we got the official teaser trailer, and I knew this was going to happen, but it dropped while I was driving to work. And so I'm driving to work and my phone is going crazy and people are watching it. And I'm like, nope, just stay the course. You got to just get to work, watch it at work. And I was like, I want to pull over, but I'm like, I don't want to see it on my phone in my car. So it was like the longest 15 minutes getting to work this morning while I'm like knowing everybody else is watching the Superman trailer and I'm not. But it did drop this morning. It is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And let's get to the main event. Jamie, thoughts on this teaser?
I mean, obviously, this is not one of these. We're going to talk, spoiler free and then spoiler because it's a freaking trailer.
It's a trailer. No, you're good. Okay.
So I'm just going to be my usual old self. And I saw something in this trailer that put the biggest smile on my face that I've had in months. And I'm ready for this movie to be injected into every vein in my body right now, just based on the fact that there are mother effing power suits going to be in it. I am all in on the power suits. I've been begging for this for decades to get in a Superman movie, and they're finally giving it to
me. Yeah. That was the big, that was your biggest excitement?
It was. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things I saw in this trailer that I really liked. But that's the thing where I paused and got up and started scrolling through in slow motion to make sure I was seeing what I thought I was. And I had my face a foot in front of my 70-inch television going, that's purple and green. That's
Yeah.
purple and green. That's purple and green. So, yeah, I'm elated about this.
Well, and as long as we're going there, there is a shot of someone careening into Superman on what looks like a baseball field almost.
Yes.
And that it's hard to tell what it is, but it is very possible that it could be Lex in a power suit.
Again, I didn't get too deep into this because I didn't have enough time to do it before we recorded. So I basically just watched most of this one guy's thoughts on it. He's saying that's Ultraman.
Yeah, I have it paused, and it's like a black outfit. Like it's a black outfit, but yeah, it doesn't quite look like a power suit. It looks more like a jacket and pants. So,
well, showed a still photo, which I don't know if it was a spy photo or an official released still from the set, but Superman is walking and there's a guy in a very black textured outfit like that and has the Ultraman symbol on the chest.
Okay. I do remember that set photo actually. So, all right. Well, there you go. Because it was one of those things where I was like, I gotta pause and see who that is, but it's still really hard to tell. But all right.
Now, keep in mind, this guy also said that he thought Bizarro was in this movie because of the quarter-second clip of Metamorpho. So maybe he has no idea what he's talking about. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I will tell you that shot of Metamorpho, I also did not immediately clock it as Metamorpho.
I only did because I saw the purplish color on the shoulder there.
Yeah, once I saw the screen grab, I went, oh, duh. Because for a second, I was like, who the heck is that? Who's the scary guy? And then I was like, oh, that's right. Metamorpho, got it. Okay, but yeah, it took me a second to figure that out. But Brendan, what about you? Your thoughts?
Overall, I like it, but I have a really big nitpick.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I didn't say it in our group chat. I was just like, no, I'll keep the powder dry until we're recording. And it kind of bugs me. I don't like that the first live action anything that we have of this Superman is him with the shit kicked out of him.
I had issues with that about the first 6 times I watched it too. And then it started dawning on me. They are setting this up for again, I keep referencing this guy that I watched on YouTube. He's basically trying to say they're trying to make Superman relatable because he's not this, infallible God that can't be hurt in any way, shape, or form. So he just wanted to come out of the gates and show us right away that Superman is, mortal in that sense. But for me, it's just showing that this is my translation. This is just my reaction to it. He's going to need some help in this movie because you see in several places in the movie from Crypto, from the other League members and everything else, he's not doing all this by himself. He's got a network of friends to help him out when he needs it, and he will need it.
Yeah.
Whether it be emotional support, physical support, whatever. So once I kind of settled into that idea, it made sense to me, and I just made peace with it. But again, I started out very much like you, that this is not the shot of Superman I want to see to start this new universe.
And I mean, look, I know it's silly, but it's just the way my mind works of like, Man of Steel was him getting, into the groove of Superman. Then we had a movie of him dying and getting the shit kicked out of him. He's barely in either version of Justice League, depending on which version you watch. I don't know. I just would have liked to have seen the first live action moment of this Superman to be, I don't know, something a bit more heroic and uplifting rather than what? That was sort of my reaction when I first watched it. I've come, I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times myself. I do really like the trailer overall, and it is a teaser. I mean, you know nothing about the plot. There's very little to no dialogue, like just all those random flashes and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. It just kind of bugs me that first shot is just him defeated. It's like, oh, come on. That's not what I really don't want to see another movie of Superman with his, not that I wanted to see, like, be
You don't
not
want him to
able
have any challenges. You don't want him to have
No,
any
but that's not what
any
I'm saying. That's not what I'm
No,
saying. But
you want a nice, happy little Superman movie where everything's easy and it's just like 2 hours of him just hanging out.
no, that's not what I'm saying, and that's why I'm sort of struggling with my words. But because that's not what I want. But I don't know. I just don't want to see another movie of him having the shit kicked out of him. I do want to see him be Superman, which I feel personally haven't really seen for a very, very long time on the big screen. Anyway,
I figure Andy loved the trailer just because Superman punches like 7 different things, so it's already ahead of Superman Returns.
Hell yeah.
but I mean, look, there are other moments like him saving that child, and standing in front of his like steel pipes or something, and like punching through that window. And I mean, there's some of the moments in there. I just wish that would have been the start of it to make me kind of go, oh fuck yeah, and then it just not be him. But I mean, the payoff of the crypto moment is cool. The fact that he calls for his friend to come and help him and stuff. I liked that, and yeah, I don't know. It's just first impressions last, I guess, and the fact that this trailer is overall the first impression, but the first impression was him, shit kicked out of him bleeding on the ground, was like, oh, that's not what I want to see. But yeah, look, overall I didn't dislike the trailer.
Well, I mean, I was certainly not. That was not what I was expecting for the first shot of the trailer. I agree, because it starts with just the snowy floor of the Antarctic, and so yeah, you expect it to be like the Fortress of Solitude, or you expect something like that, and to see him land on the ground, after some sort of horrible battle, it is like, oh, this is not what I expected to see. I've got thoughts. I will say, first of all, I love the trailer. I love it. I don't have a single nitpick. I think it looks terrific. It looks exciting. It looks emotional. It looks action packed. It looks incredibly epic. Like, it's everything that I would want from a new superhero or a new Superman movie. For me, I think the trailer is a home run. I absolutely love it. Love the music, love the vibes, love the little glimpses we're getting of not just of Superman and Lois, but the entire world that they're building, the glimpses of Lex, and then some of those other heroes. I just think it's awesome. What I appreciate about it is that, coming off of the Snyderverse, and let me just say this on the record, I love Man of Steel, I love Batman versus Superman, and I can't wait to see this movie. And that's the end of me comparing them.
It's possible to like both.
But there was this whole like, I want a bright and hopeful Superman again, and of course, like, that's what a lot of people feel, and I am one of those people, and I appreciate this trailer is like, yeah, it is going to be different than what we got in the last version. It will be brighter. It will be more hopeful. But guess what? It's also not going to be a cakewalk. It's still a movie where he is going to have some challenges, and he has still got crap to deal with, because guess what? He's the main character. He's got things to overcome. And to open it up that way, it's like, oh, you know what? There's going to be plenty of fun in this. There's going to be plenty of entertainment, but there are still stakes. Superman can't have it that easy. That's part of the journey. And so I appreciate that this is a trailer where you think you know what you're going to get from James Gunn. You're going to get, snarky jokes and pop songs, and you're going to get what we expect from his Guardians films. And this trailer says, yeah, that'll be there, but there are stakes and there is emotion. And I think that with no dialogue, the amount of just emotion that this trailer evokes, I thought was wonderful. And I didn't cry, but that last shot of Lois and Superman embracing, because it looks like he's about to go face something that he is not quite ready for. I think it's a beautiful shot. And emotionally, it just hit me right in the feelings, because he looks, he scared, for lack of a better term, and she's holding him to comfort him. And you're like, crap, what is happening here? But it's just a really beautiful emotional shot. And James Gunn can do that emotion too. We've seen it in Peacemaker. We've seen it in the Guardians films. I just appreciate that. I think it would have been very easy to go, oh, we're just going to sell you brightness, colors, and fun, because that's what you said you wanted. And the trailer's like, no, there's a lot more than that.
I really feel like there's going to be a lot of overlapping themes that we had in the Snyderverse, in that Superman is going to have to deal with some real world situations. People clearly are going to love Superman because this is an established universe. They're aware of him, they know him, they love him. I'm sure all that element is present. But this trailer also shows us that people are not going to just let him have a tough day and not hear about it.
That crowd scene where people look none
Yeah,
too happy
yeah.
with him.
And I don't think we're necessarily dealing with the xenophobia or anything like that here. What I personally feel like is you have this nation, I can't remember, it's like Bordalvia or something like that, that is having an issue with like people invading its borders or what have you. I was trying to pick this up by freezing it and reading the news lines at the bottom of the TVs, but it was really hard in some spots to see what it was saying. So my guess is he's either refusing to go do something about this, which that scene, if you look, when the guy throws the can of vegetables or whatever it is at the back of his head, he's pretty ripped up at that point. Like his suit's all scarred up or whatever you want to call it. He's really dirty. He's looking like he had a tough day. Like maybe he went and tried to do something about it and didn't quite do what was expected that he would. Like maybe some people died on his watch there or something. And these people are letting him have the business about that because he's clearly distraught in this moment. And he goes inside of Stag Industries, which I'm a bad DC fan because I don't have any idea what that is.
I don't know it either.
Okay.
Apparently it is from the
Stag,
comics,
isn't it?
but,
Yeah.
but it's it's not something I'm super familiar with.
Yeah, so he's inside this building, and in walks he's leaning down on that screen like he looks very defeated in that moment, and in walks Guy, and he like greens out the window so people can't see him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a great moment. It's very simple, it's very quick, it's about 1 second. Guy and Mr. Terrific walking into the room. I think Hawk Girl might be in that shot too, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So they're coming in to say, hey man, we're here for you. How can we help, or something like that. So again, I feel like he's going to be dealing with a very real world situation where people aren't just going to be like, hey, Soup's tough day, man, you'll make it up on the next one. No, they're going to be like the internet. They're going to give the business to anything that they don't like or feel where somebody let them down in any way, shape, or form. So this Superman's going to have problems to deal with in that respect. And I, for one, the bright, the colorful, the more hopeful, the more fun, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to refer to it as, I'm okay with all of that. But I also don't want it to not be believable.
Well, it has to be a compelling story and journey for Clark anyway. And so, yeah, like all of that, I think, can be in here. And it seems like it is, which is, again, why I was impressed with the trailer. Because I really thought it would, we would just, we're just selling you, it's a brand new version. It's going to be fun. Don't you worry. And even from the outside, it's like, no, there is more to it than that. And Superman isn't going to be a cakewalk for him. Because you're right, that moment where whatever he is coming from, he has had a bad day and people are not happy. Maybe he had to make a tough decision or whatever. But I mean, like you said, it's like the internet. No matter what you do, half the people are going to be mad at you. And that also applies to Superman. And yes, we also saw that in BVS, I think, especially. So it's not like we haven't seen a similar theme, but I appreciate that this version, in its attempt to be quote unquote more fun, isn't going to ignore things like that.
And look, listening to you guys talk, I agree with all of what you're saying. I think for me personally, it was just that first shot. I mean, there was little blink and you miss it moments in the teaser of the teaser of him, flying and being a bit more heroic and stuff. But this is the first like real look of him in action in the suit. And I think it was just because it was the first shot. If it had have come a little bit later or something, I probably wouldn't have even mentioned it. It really took me by surprise of like, wow, this is the introduction for this new Superman, is him beaten and bloodied. It just seemed, I don't know, it just wasn't what I was expecting and not what I was hoping to see for a first look.
I do agree with you. I was off balance with that for the first several times I watched it. And then I just ultimately adjusted in my mind enough to I'm trying to get to that point where I don't have my reaction to BVS. Like I was super off balance with BVS definitely the first time, more not as much, but still there in the second, and then by the third time I was like, okay, so I don't want to be a victim of my own expectations of things. I just want to get settled into what's being presented and how it's being presented and take it from there. So
And
I don't want to come into the movie tense because of that, and I don't want to get all cuckoo about it.
and see, I
So
intentionally stayed
that's
away
why
from.
I just had to make peace in my own mind of okay, don't take it out of context, don't try to guess what's going on here, just go with it and see what's happening. But I totally understand where you're coming from in that I was not appreciating that being the opening of it either.
Like, and I've consciously stayed away from internet comment sections and reactions and things like that because I knew we were recording and I didn't want my view to be swayed one way or another, or seeing what other people were thinking and changing my point of view. I wanted to just be honest. And so I mean, I don't know if other people have had the same issue. I don't know if people are loving the trailer or hating the trailer. Like, aside from seeing people post it, I haven't delved into comments to sort of know much more. So I don't know if people are agreeing with me or disagreeing, but yeah. Well, as I said, overall, I really liked it. It looks like it's going to be a blast and a hell of a ride. And I really want to see more of Lois. Like I said, Rachel Brosnahan being cast all those months ago for me was a huge boost for this movie. Not that it really needed it because it's a new DC Superman movie, but I love her and I think
She's a great talent.
she is
She's an absolutely
perfect.
wonderful talent.
Well, I know you've watched Mrs. Maisel, so
I haven't watched all of it. I probably saw one episode for every 4 or 5 my wife watched. But what I did watch, I enjoyed, and she is a terrific actress, and
she
I
is.
really think
And
she's
it's
an
perfect
absolutely
casting.
inspired choice. Until
Absolutely.
I saw power suits in the trailer, she was the thing I was most excited for in this movie.
So yeah, look, I am excited. It just, like I said, that first shot just made me feel a bit weird, and I didn't like it.
She's going to bring that thing to Lois that I love, and that she can be fun, she can be playful, but damn it, stay out of her way because she's going to get the job done.
Oh hell yeah,
She's
she's sassy, and
and she is a perfect choice for that character, in my opinion.
And look, I'll say it, she's sexy as hell too.
I mean, that's just a hell of a bonus.
Yeah.
Can I say how much I love the look of the Daily Planet?
Yes.
It's very classic. It's very
It's
classic.
so classic. It's awesome. The giant planet on top of the building, that was in the tease from yesterday. And then we get a little more of the look of the interior from the actual trailer today. But I love that it is the classic, iconic Daily Planet. Just the wide shot of Clark arriving in there. And there's the globe inside and all the desks and everything. For me, in my Superman fandom, and I think it definitely comes from the 2 Reeves films, the Daily Planet is such an important locale and character, and for me, I feel like this is nailing it just from what we're seeing here. I just love it. Like, I want to go in there and I want to spend time in there, which means it's done its job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. One thing I want to make sure I call out, not trying to bounce around a bunch here, but another thing I really appreciated in this trailer is the difference in look between Clark and Superman.
Yes. I was just about to bring that up.
The same thing too.
I think they've done a masterful job of addressing how the hell can you just put glasses on him and nobody knows it's him? He doesn't look like the same person.
No, he really doesn't. I remember seeing the set photos or the spy pics of him with the must hair, and we were all like, what? And hear the trailer, it's like it is just different enough that it makes a huge difference. And I'm like, actually, I think that's really smart.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I mean, look, there's going to be comparisons and it's going to be unavoidable, but Cavill looked exactly the same. He just had the glasses on, but he carried his bulk the same. He didn't try and hide anything. He was this huge bulking guy. Tyler Hoechlin in his first appearance in Supergirl, I think, is the best one to have done it since Christopher Reeve did. It's just a shame in his own series, they shied away from that, and it's sort of the same thing. He's just Superman with glasses when he's Clark. But yeah, this is going back to that old, like, you buy it. You can see why people wouldn't look twice at Clark, because he's not, he's carrying his body mass differently, he's walking differently, his hair is different, he's got the glasses, he looks very unassuming. I think we're going to get a bit of that bumbling Clark as well. So I love it. I love it when there's a real difference between the two.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think we'll get quite like the extreme bumbling like we got with Christopher Reeve, but it looks like just from the way he's carrying himself in these little shots here that he has a different body language that makes him a lot more unassuming. And I think that, yeah, it's working from what I'm seeing.
Yep, 100%.
We get a glimpse of the Kent farm and Pa Kent in what looks like a very emotional moment here.
Yeah. I can never remember that actor's name, but I've seen him in loads of things. Like, he usually gets smaller bit parts. Like, the most I've ever seen him in a movie, I think, was Identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the actor, and I think he always does a good job in anything I see him in, but I never remember what the heck the poor guy's name is, and shame on me for that.
Do we think they're keeping the parents alive in this one?
I mean, this sad moment makes me wonder, like, does Ma go first this time?
I thought that too, and I thought, man, Gunn feels to me, and I don't want to put words in the guy's mouth or make assumptions or expectations. Gunn feels to me like the kind of guy that's going to let both of them hang.
I hope so.
Not like hang like from gallows. I mean like hang around in the universe is what I meant to phrase that.
We got it. I hope so, because I love it in the cartoon. I adored it in Lois and Clark.
It's a great dynamic, and it's one that I feel has really been underserved, at least as far as the cinematic Superman. And that's not to say I don't appreciate the way that they've done it with the Snyderverse or the Reed films. It's just I'm ready to be different, guys. I'm just ready to
and that's the thing,
to have something a little bit a different taste than what we've been given. And it's not because I don't love those other tastes, it's because I like variety. So why don't we try this now? Why don't we bring that dynamic in? Because as Brendan's saying, these TV series have done a really great job with that dynamic of having both parents still there. So I would love to see that in this film.
I love the representation of, with the dad dying, of he has all these powers, but there's still things that he can't do. And yes. I understand that, and I appreciate it. And I like the message that it sends, whether it be the heart attack or, the classic heart attack, or in Man of Steel, where, Jonathan's like, no, you can't jeopardize your safety for me. I think both work really, really well. But Superman, he's not Batman or Spider-Man. He doesn't need a tragedy to be a motivator for what he does. So yeah, I'd really like to see the parents hang around, because I love seeing Clark interact with his folks. It's beautiful.
Well, if we see Glenn Powell in a cowboy hat and a pickup truck, that means there's a tornado coming, and it ain't going to end well for Jonathan.
There better be fireworks involved here too.
Oh, of course. You mentioned the moment of Superman calling Krypto when he is injured. I do love that reveal. I mean, we've already known Krypto's coming, but I love when he whistles and you see Krypto's powers of him storming through the ice and snow.
That's my favorite part. I love it.
I think that's so great. And him saying, "Krypto, take me home." I think that's great. I think it's a great payoff to the introduction of him being injured and him calling Krypto.
My two cents
there is...
Krypto
was a golden retriever or a Labrador. Do we wish he was the
I don't mind this.
I don't care enough.
No, okay. I don't either. I
don't care. I was just curious.
I'm not terribly breed specific in that manner, but they're showing that Krypto is going to be a lot of fun. Like, he's going to add an element to this film that we have not gotten in previous live action films. But I also would love, and I really feel like Gunn is the guy that's going to give this. Krypto's got to have some heroic moments too, right? He can't just be the cute comic relief. He's got to come out and kick some ass at some point, right?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so too. I haven't given it that much thought, but you're not wrong.
I'm just stoked The Rock's voicing him.
Thank God. And then you mentioned that amazing shot of Superman saving the little girl while they look like air canisters or something are blowing out behind him, but there's also this giant monster.
All right, is this another bad DC fan moment, or is that monster just like a generic kaiju thing that they put in there?
Right now I think it's some sort of generic kaiju or alien. But I don't really care because he's awesome, and I want to see Superman fight a giant kaiju in Metropolis.
I mean, I'd rather it was Godzilla, but I'll take it if it's a giant monster. Y'all know I like the giant monster aspect. So,
but yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh hell yeah! like speaking of things we haven't seen in a movie, we haven't seen that.
They pan back and it's got 8 legs, so it's Superman fighting a giant spider.
One can hope.
Brendan, go slam your nuts in a drawer somewhere.
But yeah, anyway, Superman saving the little girl and the giant creature, I think, is just great. We get some quick glimpses of Lex. I love him staring down from the Luthor Corp building, on his little headset, obviously watching something that Superman is doing and trying to like orchestrate things behind the scenes. That's perfect. He
looks like he's going to bring that wicked edge to the character. Sometimes Lex is just like real sly and like likable to the public and only a scumbag in private. This one just seems like he's hell bent on everything. But again, we only get a couple of glimpses. Y'all happen to notice in one where he looks like he's had a pretty tough day and caught a few shots to the face?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to figure out if he was wearing a power suit there, but he's not because I froze it and he's wearing like a collared shirt. So I don't know where that's coming from or what he's dealing with, but Lex is going to be a pretty big part of this film, so that'll be interesting to see.
Well, and Gunn said that.
Sorry, go ahead, Andy.
I was just saying, Gunn said Superman's the protagonist, Lex is the antagonist. When everybody was like, "Well, what about this? What about this? What about this?" And that's what we're getting here. And again, it's just a few glimpses of Lex, but to me, it looks like the very powerful, very smart businessman Lex that we've all been asking for. I mean, sure, we've got spins on it, but to me, this seems like a very classic Lex. He's the head of Luthor Corp. He's staring down at the world from his tower. He's got a gun there, maybe a kryptonite bullet. I don't know. But anyway, what I'm seeing from Lex is very promising of the version of Lex, at least I have been asking for.
Yeah. And I guess what I was trying to say is there's a lot, I shouldn't say a lot. There's a number of versions of Lex, especially in more recent years, where he's been the villain with the smile. You can't catch me because I'm just too darn good. This one just seems like and again, this is assumptions that I'm making from a 220 trailer that has 10 seconds of Lex in it. I feel like this one's just going to be a little more straightforward than that.
See, this is where my hope is, how you said before, Jamie, he just seems maniacal and hell-bent and everything. I hope he is, but I hope that's all behind closed doors. I want public to be the public, Jesus. I want Lex to be admired by the public because I love that dynamic of we know and Superman knows what an asshole this guy is, but it makes it even harder for Superman to touch him because the public perception of Lex is that the sun shines out of his ass. Like that's the Lex that I really want to see that we've never had on the big screen.
I was going to say, and that's been absent from live action cinematic Superman too. So I think that's due, and I hope you're right.
One of the closest that I can think of that is actually Lois and Clark with John Shea. He was the public loved him, and Superman knew, but he couldn't touch him, and I love that. Hell, I'd love to see in sequels him become president. I want to see President Lex, like where he really can't touch him. So yeah, I hope all that evil stuff is we get to see it as the audience, and Superman gets to see it, but the public perception is this guy's awesome.
Well, shit. Let me go ahead and take that a step further. How about in the next 4 or 5 years, when President Lex is in there, we just go ahead and get a Public Enemies live action movie?
Yeah,
I'm all for that too. I was going to say the moment we were talking about earlier where Superman is walking into that building and there's this crowd yelling at him and throwing things, it is very likely that they are Lex loyalists.
Mm-hmm.
And something has happened that Lex has turned the perception against Superman, and these people believe what Lex says. And so they're out, showing their unhappiness.
That could be, that's valid. I mean, I hadn't considered that until you said it, but yeah, I mean, that seems very possible to me now that you've said it.
Like, imagine a future DC movie where Lex is either president or campaigning to be president, and he comes face to face with Viola Davis's, Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
Like, and those two, I mean, they can both act their asses off. And imagine those on the screen, push and pull.
Wait. Hang on. You hear that?
Yeah,
okay.
Wallet.
Yeah, I'll have to go find it later because I threw it pretty hard.
But yeah, like the push and pull and the yin and yang of those two. I mean, that's promising in and of itself. So let's hope we see that one day too.
That little kid raising the Superman flag, closing his eyes and whispering.
Great moment.
That's
great moment.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. I love that. And again, there were a lot of little moments like that just like kind of, stung in my heart. And again, we know James Gunn can do emotion. I didn't think that's what they would be selling in the first teaser, but that's why I like it so much because, man, it makes you feel. And the music is a big part of that too. We mentioned that earlier. Yes, there was the nod to Williams in the motion poster, but here it is the Williams theme, but played in a very different way. And it's awesome. And it's on iTunes. I already bought it. Thanks, Joe Fornerato. I think it was Joe that let us know, or was it?
I think so, yeah.
It was Joe. So yeah, I immediately bought it and I've got it, which is great. But yeah, like the music does so much in making it feel so dramatic and so emotional.
I enjoyed it.
We mentioned the glimpses of some of these other heroes. So we have Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, and Hawkgirl. That shot of Hawkgirl dive bombing in the sky with her mace, that's just superhero badassery, and I love it.
I have a very minor nitpick here.
Okay.
A very minor nitpick. Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific all seem to be wearing matching uniforms.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
They definitely are wearing, yes, they're all matching in a way. But James Gunn has said the Justice League does not exist, but it does feel like there is some sort of mini team that they are all a part of. And I am intrigued as to what that is.
They're the Terrificans.
I mean, you're joking, I think, but wasn't that a comic, The Terrifics, where it was?
No, it was.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say,
I forgot about that until you just said it. So yeah.
Yeah, there was. It was like the Terrifics, right? So it does feel like this is like a spin on that and sort of a mini Justice League. And again, not what I expected, but I'm also not opposed to that because I'm sure there's a good reason for it.
Yeah. I haven't seen the Hawkgirl image slowed down or a screenshot yet because it's so fast in the trailer. So I haven't noticed that myself.
I tried to get a good resolution shot of it so I could just sit there and analyze it for a second. And it's moving so quickly. No matter how slow I tried to reel it back and forward, I just could not get a shot that wasn't super fuzzy.
Yeah, it is. It is. I've got it freeze frame right now, but it's awesome.
I'm not saying I don't love it. I'm just saying it's hard to get something I would use as like a background for my computer.
Oh, no doubt. But so here's this is a observation that our pal Robert Reinecke said in a separate chat where he's like, you know what? At least the trailer makes it unmistakable who the main character is, and that's Superman. So for all the hand wringing of people being like, how many characters are they going to fit in this? Is Superman going to be in this? Like, that does not seem to be an issue, at least based on this trailer. This is all about Clark and Superman.
Yeah. Agreed. 100%.
And if we're entering a world where superheroes already exist and are established, it makes sense that, we would see some of them. I mean, for Christ's sake, like BVS, they're, why don't they just call this Justice League? I mean, at one point, I think even I said that, where it's like, so-and-so is going to be the Flash, and so-and-so is Wonder Woman, and Aquaman, and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, holy Christ, like, can we just have Batman and Superman on the big screen for the first time together? What the hell's going on?
Dude,
And
it was the dawn of justice.
Yeah, the movie is not about them. I mean, they're Jesus, Aquaman's like blink and you miss it. Like, yeah. We don't know to what level they're going to be in it, and I'm assuming it's going to be very minor to supporting at best.
I'm going to call my shot now, and I know this is really flimsy because I'm going to do it one of two things: either they're all going to be together dealing with the giant monster, or they're all going to be together dealing with whatever the hell that green and purple thing is floating outside the window.
Yeah, we don't know what that is yet. That was in that first shot too of getting the suit. That purple thing.
My again, this is just me speculating. I don't have anything to back this up with, but my gut feeling is the monster is going to be first or second act, probably first. It really feels first, and then the third act is going to be whatever that energy thing is outside the window.
Yeah.
Which, am I the only one that's getting the feeling that maybe Green Lantern's out there trying to deal with it and he's not having an easy time, and that's why Superman has to say, "Got to go to work"?
It's possible.
Because there are moments where there's like
green energy.
Yeah, there's green energy going all over the place out there. So, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe that's just part of whatever that is. I don't know, but
it's got to be something big. Because if Rachel Brosnahan's embracing me like that, I'm not. I'm not letting go.
You let the world burn.
Yeah, hell yeah. I got mine.
Speaking of the other heroes, I think it's very cool that it seems like they've got Superman's back. Like you said, Guy Gardner coming in and sort of blocking the view while Superman's having a moment. Personally, I love that they gave Nathan Fillion the ugly ass Guy Gardner hair. I think it's hilarious.
I was curious to see if they were going to give him a dye job in that cut, and sure as hell, man, he looks like he walked up off a page.
Yep, I think it's hilarious, but I'm into it. But yeah, I appreciate that. Like, they seem to have his back in this down moment for him, and I'm excited to see more of that. And you also mentioned, Brendan, I know you were joking, but like a lot of romantic moments here between Lois and Clark and Lois and Superman. And one that was like really beautiful and iconic of them floating and kissing, which, is a Superman and Lois staple, but I'm glad to see we're getting it again. And it looks really great.
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak for you guys, but I, for one, hope that she's cheating on Clark with Superman and she just doesn't know.
And he's having the best of both worlds.
Yeah. I don't feel like I really feel like this is established. I mean, clearly it's established that she knows he's Superman, right? I mean, we're cutting through the BS right there. Like nobody else knows, but she picked up on it pretty quick, kind of thing. I doubt we're even going to have to deal with that. I think we're just going to hit the ground running with this. Like maybe they'll reference how she figured it out, but I don't think we're going to have an act and a half of her going, "This guy's never around when Superman is."
I could go either way, but I mean, if the Rachel Brosnahan version of Lois is the way that I'm hoping she is, I kind of hope she knows. When she figured it out herself, she didn't have to be told.
I like her not knowing for a while. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with that. And his disguise, like we said, is pretty good. So I feel like you don't want to rush her finding out. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, no, but we're not in an origin here. We're in an established lived-in
universe. That's the thing. If it was an origin story, absolutely not. I don't want her to find out as fast as Amy Adams did. But yeah, being in the established universe, if they wanted to skip that part, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But I understand what you're saying, Andy, because I do agree. I do like that dynamic of her not knowing and him trying to do the right thing by everyone, but not hurt her and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, being the established universe, I'd be much more forgiving if they skip that part.
Superman seems to be mourning a robot in the Fortress of Solitude. And yeah, it looks like this could be this version of Keelix, which I think it looks pretty cool. And if you freeze frame, he's definitely in the fortress. If you look in the back of the fortress, like there's even those kind of monolithic things that very evocative of 1978. But yeah, I love that shot too. It's beautiful.
Keelix even has a screwdriver in his hand.
Yeah.
Or hers. whatever.
This absolutely feels, in the best possible way, like every iconic element of Superman is here. You know, like you've got the Daily Planet and the Fortress of Solitude and the Kent Farm, and you've got Keelix and you've got Lex and Luthor Corp. And I know that sounds like, well, duh, but it's like, actually, it's not a duh, because how many versions have we had over the past 20 years that haven't included those things? So it's nice that it's like, no, like these are all the elements of Superman. And this movie seems to want to celebrate all of those things, which again just makes me excited. Because, you know, well, I'm not going down that road. Anyway, the point is I love that all of this stuff seems established in this world. We're not doing it before those things. We're not doing it after those things. We're doing it during those.
I know you're pressed for time, Andy. I don't want to skip to the end, but a question that I have for you guys, because I know I want to mention it, is after seeing the trailer, has it changed your excitement for the movie? Are you more or less, well, I don't think anyone's less excited, but are you more excited than you were a week ago, or how are you feeling?
For me, yes. I was already excited.
Same.
Of course. Yeah, you know, it's a new Superman movie. We've been wanting that for a long time. It's this new DC universe. We're excited about that. You know, I have liked what I have seen up until now, but there is nothing like seeing all of it in motion to get a true feel for the look and the vibe of a film like the first trailer. And for me, like I said at the beginning, this trailer was a home run. It gave me everything I could have wanted from a first teaser. We get a little glimpses of everything. We have interesting and intriguing questions. There's epic action and cool monsters, but like obviously a strong, well, I mean, you know, we haven't seen it, but what appears to be a strong story and a really strong emotional core to all this stuff. And so, yeah, this trailer worked for me. And I mean, yes, it amped up my excitement more than I think I even would have expected. So for me, it worked.
Okay.
I was just like, and then Power Suit showed up, and I'm like, fast forward to July immediately.
See, for me, I'm looking forward to it, and I am excited to see it. I am so terrified of having my heart ripped out again, guys. It's happened so much over the last 15 years, 16 years. Most recently with The Flash. Like, I was so excited for that movie. The trailers looked fantastic. I still liked it, but just I can't have another go around of the hype, the anticipation, the walking out of the cinema going, yeah, that was awesome, loving every second of it, what I saw on the big screen, and then coming out and just being told, oh no, that movie's shit. You're not supposed to like that. It's terrible and the world hates it and you're an idiot for liking it. I can't go through that again. And
Brendan.
And like,
Brendan.
yeah.
Brendan. A not so wise man once said, like what you like,
no,
dislike
I know
what you dislike, and never apologize for either one. And he still thinks that.
I know, but Andy said it before, and more so than The Flash and things like that. This movie has so much riding on it. Like as Andy said, this movie has to be an event, and it has to be a hit. Like it does. There's no two ways about it. It has to work, and I'm terrified of what if it doesn't. And yeah, I'm terrified. I can't go through that DC fan experience again. And you laugh, but I know you know what I'm talking about. And I guarantee you feel the same way.
I do. I totally know where you're coming from, but it's still kind of funny because sometimes you just have to laugh. But no, I hear what you're saying. The good news is, I mean, yes, obviously I'm friends with people who are often of similar minds, but I'm friends with a fair amount of people who've been pretty shitty about DC movies for a lot of years now. And I have seen positive reactions to this across the board. which is good. Again, I didn't go digging in comment sections because no happiness can come from that.
Yeah.
But at least from like the people I am connected with on social media, I have seen a lot of positivity, which is great. Even again, like there was one, and I wouldn't even call him a friend. He's a friendly acquaintance, let's say. But he's like, but even said like, I haven't liked a DC movie in 10 years, but this one finally gives me hope, or something like that, right? Which, like, but whatever. The point is like, even someone like that who's obviously got a chip on their shoulder is like down for this, which is exciting. It has been out for 12 hours, the trailer. It's already been viewed just on the DC page over 16 million times in 12 hours. So
11 million of those were me.
okay, well, 5 million is still not bad. So that's really encouraging too. Like people are watching this trailer, people are talking about this trailer. So I think mission accomplished this week. Now they've got to maintain that excitement, and then more importantly, the movie's got to be good. But as far as putting your best foot forward to start, I feel really good about today.
Yeah.
It's also worth noting the very last thing you see in the trailer is the DC Studios logo.
Yeah, they don't even say the name of the movie.
No.
At no point do they drop that logo or just Superman. It's just DC Studios.
Yeah, it says, I think, what does it say? Next summer it begins, which I dig that. And then it says July 11th and DC Studios. But I don't think anyone would watch this and go, "What movie is this for?"
Yeah.
I will also say I watched it with Harley. And I was actually watching it while Harley was having her bath, and she came down from her bath and she went, "Oh, Superman. I want to watch Superman." And so I had to rewind it to watch it again. And I was going to record her reaction, but she's like, "No, I want lap." So she crawled in my lap because she wanted to watch it with me.
Aww.
And then when it was over, then she crawled onto the couch and said, "I want to watch again." And so then we watched it again, and then I recorded her watching it. I sent it to you.
I haven't seen the video yet, but I played it this morning when Jess woke up and Henry had come into the bedroom, because I stirred in the night at like 12:30 and I saw my phone flashing and I saw the trailer was up. So I snuck into my office with my headphones on and watched it on my phone. And then this morning when we all woke up, I put it on the TV in our bedroom. And Henry was lying between us and he's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Well, you'll see." And he's just like, "Superman." And then Crypto. He's like, "Oh, Crypto." Like he looked like he was excited for it. I'm like, I don't know if you can be able to watch this, dude, but Henry was all in. He loved it. So he and Harley have got something in common there. It's working for the kids.
How old is Henry now? 3?
3.5. Yeah.
Dude, by the time this movie's out, he'll be 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took my son to see Avengers like 8 times when he was 4 years old.
Okay.
So trust me, your son can handle a Superman movie.
It depends on the length. I don't know how he'll go in the cinema for that long, but anyway.
Well, James Gunn said it's just shy of 2.5 hours, so FYI.
That's long.
But I'm already being like, do I think Harley can handle this? Because this is one I'm going to want to see multiple times.
Yeah.
I don't know, but so far so good. But I'll tell you what, Catherine just texted me about 10 minutes ago saying Harley asked to watch Super Pets after the trailer.
Oh.
So it did its job. it's doing something, which is great. So that made me very happy. So anyway, let's give some final thoughts on this first teaser for Superman. I already said my piece. Yeah, you guys know where I stand. For me, I thought it was an amazing teaser, an amazing first trailer for this movie. My hype level is as high as it could be. This is my most anticipated movie of next year. And remember, there's a Jurassic movie coming next year too. But right now, Superman is where it's at. Jurassic's coming out a week before Superman.
Oh, wow.
And then Fantastic Four is coming out like 2 weeks after Superman.
Jeez.
So July is going to bankrupt me in babysitters, but it'll be worth it. It's fine. But anyway, point is, to your question, this trailer absolutely amped up my hype. I can't freaking wait, and I think it's terrific. Brendan?
Didn't like the first shot, but overall loved the trailer. I thought it was, it did its job. It showed us what the new aesthetic's going to be like. Very much a teaser, like I said earlier, and I think we said it in our group chat. Like, it's a teaser trailer. When I saw it had like a 220-minute runtime, I'm like, that's not a teaser. Like, to me, a teaser is, the Man of Steel one or the Dark Knight one, where it's just the words and the logo and that kind of thing. But yeah, when I saw it, it's like, oh, this is very much a teaser. It gives you nothing about what the plot is. It's just those flashy moments with the music. I liked it. It's done its job. That's good. Very excited for the movie. It is also my most anticipated for next year. But like I said before, I am shitting bricks for how this movie's going to land.
You really shouldn't say that word.
I was shitting rocks.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's how I'm currently feeling. It's Hey, look, I take medication every day for anxiety, so I'm an anxious person, and this movie, I'm very, very anxious to see how it's going to land. No pun intended.
All right, and finally, Jamie, final thoughts.
I ever tell you guys I really like power suits?
Yeah. And here's the thing. Number one, we're with you. Number two, you should really watch the final season of Superman and Lois.
I didn't know if I should say that or not. But you really need to catch up on Superman and Lois, Jamie.
That has nothing to do with what you brought up.
I'm like halfway through season 2, so it's going to be a minute.
And I watch like one episode every 2 months. Seasons, my friend. But seriously, the last season,
perfect. Yeah. Honestly, I'll say it. Season 4, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. This trailer, I'm here. Just go ahead and teleport me to July, and I'll be set. I'm ready for this. My biggest request at this point is show some restraint. Give me another trailer, 3.5 minutes, and then no more.
That's not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen, but that's what I want. Damn it. No, there's so much goodness in this trailer. There's a lot of questions that I have, which is fine because, suspense and anticipation are good things. I do not wish to become a victim of my own hype and expectations, as I've said several times now. But there are many, many, many indicators that I get from this trailer that this movie should be pretty satisfying for a pretty wide range of fans out there. Be they casuals, be they hardcore floppy comic readers every week. I think they're... My hope is the mass appeal's there, the success is there, and here's to a kickoff of a very well-received, successful universe that's going to provide entertainment for us for at least the next 10 years.
Hell yeah. I meant to do this earlier, but I have to read to you the text I got from Dillip, one of my oldest and dearest friends, who is, the biggest Superman fan. He and I have gone together to see every Superman movie since starting with Superman Returns. We've always gone together, even when we live across the country from each other. And so we're already making plans to see this one together. He texted me this out of the blue today. He said, well, that trailer is a giant F you to realism, isn't it? That's what a comic book movie should be. And I was like, hell yeah.
Superpowered dogs, giant monsters, glowing energies.
Hot girls.
Power suits.
Metamorphos.
Don't even morph. Don't care. Yeah, there's so much potential.
Yeah.
So much potential here.
Yep. All right. Well, good marks all around. Hope you guys, everybody out there, have also enjoyed the Superman trailer as much as, at least me and Jamie have. And it's a good time and it's exciting times because we're really gearing up for the launch of this new universe. And right now, Superman is looking very, very promising. But that's where we are going to end. This was supposed to be a mini show. Did it end up being a mini show? Not really. I actually joked. Catherine goes, there's a lot in that trailer. And I'm like, yeah, but I'll see you in 3 hours. And she's like, Anyway, I need to get back to her. So everybody out there, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks for downloading or streaming the show. Please do follow the show wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Please rate and review us if you're enjoying yourself. A 5-star review would be awesome. It would be a great Christmas gift to us, and it doesn't cost a penny. So yeah, please, that'd be awesome. Again, find the show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, Holy BatCast. And then if you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, which I'm sure you will after the Superman trailer, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of Jamie and Brendan, I've been Andy. We'll see you next time. Same super time, same super channel. And don't forget, look up.
What do you think?
It's Superman.
It's Superman.
Should we go see that?
I want more.
Yeah, you want more?
I want more.
And watch it again?
Yeah, it's Superman.